Let's go dash.
In this episode, we see the return of a cheater as Luke duels against Arai. Hey, my name is Rex. Let's go and discuss episode 23 of Yu-Gi-Oh! Sevens. I think I got that right. I might be... No, 23. Yeah, it's 23. But anyway, this one is a pretty interesting episode, as it seems to be the penultimate episode leading up to the final confrontation. So in this one, things start off relatively chill as everybody heads to the restaurant to hang out. Apparently, Luke has got a bunch of coupons or something from Mimi, I think they said. But, regardless, they're able to chill back at the restaurant. But, as he walks in, it seems like a bunch of the electronics are going off. So, as he says, his devil is moody that day. Interesting. But, we see a little more, I guess, development for, Luke's devil or the poly effect, whatever it is. And so... especially as even trying to get into the VIP room, which they're allowed into, the door closes. So while they're chilling, while they're eating in the restaurant, it cuts to Arai, who's watching over them, and of course wants to get revenge. So he sends a robot in to get Romin. But it's funny, when the robot comes in, it malfunctions basically. One thing though is that Yunga, of course, Yunga being extremely observant as usual, he notices, things aren't exactly going, or things are going off with, Luke's ability, right? And so he asks Luke if he can see his wristwatch, thinking, maybe that's what it is, thinking that this is what's causing all the disturbances, and especially, what's been causing it previously. And so Yunga holds onto it, and when the robot comes in, it takes Luke instead and walks out. So now, some interesting conflict as Luke is separated from his wristwatch, which at this point, we're inclined to believe is what's causing the poly effect or the, all the malfunctions in any technology. And so Luke, I get the names all weird, but Luke is brought to Arai, and Arai, of course, is all not happy because he's like, oh shoot, it's supposed to be Romin. And he's especially thinking, I can't duel this guy. This guy stopped my cheating last time. And he sees that Luke apparently is not able to activate his ability, his poly effect, Luke Devil, whatever we want to call it. And again, this continues to lead us to think that it's tied to the wristwatch. But of course, he's just saying, oh yeah, it's being moody today. But regardless, it ends up with them dueling. There's funny exchange between them, and especially I think Luke thinks that he's the one that led Arai up on this dark path, as he says, the cheating path. So Luke is like, oh no, I gotta save you, I gotta beat you in a duel and save you. So again, some funny interactions between the two. But the duel starts, and of course, the funny thing is, Arai is not at all hiding the fact that he's cheating. On Luke's turn, Luke summons 3 monsters, but he holds out on summoning or attributing them to summon a bigger monster, for fear of it being affected by one of Arai's cards. But during Arai's turn, he's just blatantly cheating. He's not even trying to hide it. The funny thing is, he has his own thing that he's saying during the duel. He's saying Arai Angell, which lets him put any card on top of the deck, but of course it's just cheating. Again, it's funny, Arai Angell to counter Luke Devil. It's kind of funny that he set it up that way. But the strategy he's using is a pretty interesting one. Of course, aside from just cheating, right? He summons this monster that has an effect that lets his opponent draw cards equal to the number of monsters they control, while giving the controller 300 life points for each card drawn. I think when it's special summon or just when it's on the field. But regardless, he's able to summon 3 of those. It's this funny looking Santa guy. But what that results in Luke drawing, 9 cards in total or so, give or take. Is 3 cards for each one, and then there's some other effects that let him draw, and then Arai is gaining more life points. And at this point, I think I was able to figure out his is he going for a deck out strategy, especially when he summons another ace monster, which doesn't have a lot of attack but has an effect that cycles out cards, that if the top card of your deck is a monster, or if it's not a monster, then you discard your whole hand and then draw that same amount. So basically, in 40 card decks where you're cycling out, where you're making your opponent draw a bunch of cards and then cycle them out, that basically gets rid of a lot of the cards. And especially in rush duels where typically, things seem to move a little faster, but the duel doesn't even really last a whole lot. I think it's really only 2 turns. So at the same time, Yunga and everybody else are still trapped in the VIP room watching everything go down. and thinking that, you know, we got to get back to Luke, we got to get this wristwatch to him because this is what's causing his ability, the poly effect, all of that. And they're thinking, you know, they need to, especially because it's against Arai, who is cheating, right? And, you know, that's what stopped him last time, which was a great episode on top of that. But they're able to get out. The funny way, though, they get out is they take Kaizo, or at least the bicycle seat Kaizo, jam it in the door and pry it open. I thought that was funny. So while they're running to, eventually they catch up all together during the duel while Luke is just about to lose. You know, he's about to use the effect of his new ace monster. I forget the name of it, but it's, you know, this tank. It's pretty cool overall. Well, as cool as a washing themed deck could be. But they catch up with Luke, and they all say, hey, you know, I'll stop him. And the funny thing is, they're all each like, okay, you know, trying to use the wristwatch. So we get a little brief segment of each of them attempting to use the poly effect, but they all call out, you know, Yunga Devill, Romin Devil, Gakuto Devil. It doesn't work though. So interesting here what's going on. And again, you know, it just leaves more questions, I guess. But, you know, Luke kind of says something interesting. He's saying, you know, I just have to beat him with skill, right? I don't need that. I don't need special ability. You know, even if he's cheating, as long as I've got skill, I can beat him. So, you know, it's kind of interesting that I guess he's got that viewpoint, and especially, you know, because he, again, you know, he was ill-informed or a little delusional, but he feels responsible for Arai cheating the way that he does. So, you know, it's kind of nice. He had a better moment, I guess, you know, in the duel against Schrodinger. But this one was still, you know, a cool, interesting duel, and I guess serves as some more build-up, I suppose, for his poly effect. But regardless, he's able to beat him. It's, you know, a great turn because thankfully the card that he set was a trap card that when you discard a card, flips the opponent's monster face down, I believe that was, so that, you know, it stops the monster's effect. And, you know, it's pretty fortunate, though, that he's got a hand of like 13 cards. Of course, you know, they take time to explain the deck out feature or deck out during rush duels. I think also the interesting thing is, especially, you know, when it comes back to Luke's turn, they mentioned that you have to draw at least one card, even if you have more than 5. So I guess that's something for rush duels. I didn't know the full rules. I've honestly never rush dueled, but I guess you know, it's interesting to see that. And again, you know, just having different strategies come into play. Again, you know, with Arai in the last time he dueled, he had sort of a different strategy. It was still, you know, something with loops, especially because, you know, it was enabled by cheating. But in this one, it's still a loop, technically enabled by cheating, but a different type with a different goal in terms of, you know, attempting to deck out. So I always like seeing stuff like that. But during Luke's turn, he's just able to win because he's got a hand of 13 cards, which, you know, basically his entire deck. So he's just really able to go off, and especially, you know, being able to normal summon as much as you can. So he's able to tribute summon. He summons all his other big monsters, all of his, you know, all of his other big dragons. And I think especially what's neat, he has this one card, you know, at the very end that counts for 2 tributes when summoning a level 7 or higher monster. So he's able to summon a bunch of really big monsters, and that's the final one he used for drag ears. And so he gets all of his big monsters, and at this point I think Arai has something like 6,700 life points. So, you know, he really needed to beat him this turn. Oh, especially, no, he had like a board wipe spell that he used like at the beginning of his turn that I think required him to like discard 3 cards. But overall, I think that was really neat to see because, you know, just seeing what you can do in a rush duel when you have like 13 cards in your hand. Again, I don't know how much there is in rush duels overall to draw cards yourself, but I guess when your opponent's trying to make you draw cards to deck out, but you stop it and you got 13 cards in your hand, hey, you can go off from there. So overall, Luke wins the duel, and, you know, pretty funny overall, the whole duel and everything. And the interesting thing, though, they ask Arai if he's got any information on the Gate of Providence, which, you know, they found out about last episode. And, you know, I guess it made sense because Arai was the one that kind of led them to Neil in the first place a few episodes ago. And so now he tells them where to find the Gate of Providence, and they're able to get in. Not just by unlocking it how they did before, but Luke is able to use his effect again to open it up. I guess, you know, so again, more questions are up in the air about Luke and all this, but I guess, you know, it only works with Luke. So they're able to get in, and things are setting up, especially for the next episode. And supposedly, yeah, next episode is going to be the final confrontation between them and Neil. So it's going to be a duel against between Yunga and Neil. So that's going to be pretty neat to see. But overall, you know, a cool, fun episode. You know, it's enjoyable. I don't think this is one of my favorite episodes as of recently, but I think, you know, it's definitely obviously still moving the plot forward, of course. Yeah, basically every episode moves the plot forward in some way. So, or did the cooking episode? No, I don't remember, but I mean, nobody hated the cooking episode. But yeah, this one, again, you know, a stepping stone to the final confrontation, which is going to be really neat to see. And again, you know, seeing different duel strategies is always pretty cool, even if they, you know, take some time to explain it. But like, I mean, you kind of have to, I guess. But, you know, fun, cool episode, and I'm excited for next week to see what happens, what goes down. Wondering if the duel is going to last 2 or more episodes. I haven't looked into it yet, but you know, having this kind of arc here is, you know, just really cool to see, and I'm enjoying things so far. But let me know what you think in the comments below. Did you enjoy this episode? What are you looking forward to seeing in the next episode? And beyond that, because I guess we're probably going to wrap up the Garden of Providence arc and probably move on to the next one, so that'll just be neat to see where things go from there. But if you enjoyed the content, leave a like, subscribe, all that cool stuff, enabling notifications by clicking that bell icon, you know, typical YouTube stuff. But anyway, this has been Rex. Have a nice day.